It's lovely to be here. Good afternoon. I know that you have a lot of energy, and I'm really excited to be sharing that with you. I wanted to go back to Tuesday evening. And if you recall, when we sat outside and we had some presentations, Andy Koo talked to us, and he mentioned a few things. He mentioned sustainability, he mentioned legacy, and he mentioned love. And I think that these are very important concepts. Because when we talk about wellness, we need to understand that without sustainability, there is no wellness. Right? If the environment is toxic, if the air that we breathe is not good, it's impossible to have wellness. So these concepts are tightly linked together. And everything that we might do for our health, for our longevity, it doesn't make any sense at all if we don't have love in our lives. So today we're going to look at the journey of healthy living as it's applied to HAUS Da Lat. And we're going to start by talking about this in 3 parts. We're going to begin with an introduction to Chiva-Som and a little bit about Chiva-Som's story and look at wellness. What is wellness and why is that important? And then I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Suzanne, and she's going to explain the experience of a guest, of a resident, of a member, somebody who's living or enjoying the wellness spaces in HAUS Da Lat. And then Hayley from Mitchell Eades is going to show us a bit of the look and the feel. So we're working through this today in 3 parts, and my colleagues will come to the stage as we go through. So I'd like to start with Chiva-Som, Chiva-Som Wellness Resort. It's what we call a destination wellness resort. So that means that people come to the resort for the purpose of wellness. They don't go because they want to see Thailand or particularly they want to see the palaces in Hua Hin. They go because they have a wellness goal. And we'll get to that in a little more detail shortly. And Chiva-Som has been, this year we're celebrating the 30-year anniversary. And it's a modest property. It has 54 rooms. It's not huge. It is, as you can see here, represented in a very traditional Thai architecture, which is not to say that it's not contemporary, but the architectural style is quite traditional. And it has a lot of lush, verdant, green environment, which is a very calming, peaceful space to be. So people, as I said, when they come to Chiva-Som, they focus on their health. They may not know exactly what's bothering them. So they may just be stressed. Or sometimes they come and say, oh, I want to detox. What is detox? They may not sleep. Or they may have had something happen in their lives that was a big event. Maybe an uncle or a parent, somebody passed away. And maybe they began to think that, whoa, I need to start paying attention to my health. Otherwise, something might happen. And our mission, Chiva-Som's mission, is really to provide guests with the support and the guidance. Wellness is not something that I can do to you. You have to choose it, right? You have to want it for yourself. So our mission is to provide the support and the guidance, the comfort. We talked about that as a luxury, the comfort, and the confidence, the motivation to achieve whatever is the best thing that they're looking for. There's no one model, there's no one set of rules. It's the thing that the person is looking for and the place that they are on their journey. That's our mission. And how do we do this? As I said before, luxury we talked about is it the stone touches? Is it the finishes? Is it everything that's glitz and glamour? We think that luxury is having people listen to you, having people take time with you, having people care for you, understand you, and support you in your journey. And for us at Chiva-Som, those people are these people, and we call them wellness advisors. And they are the people who consult with the guests and give them advice along their way. And these people are so important to us, and the skills of the people in general are so important that we have an academy which we operate in Bangkok. And we provide a lot of time and effort in training not just our own people, but people in the public who are interested in running spas or running resorts, because this human skill and this knowledge is key to creating this so-called luxury guest experience. And readers are recognizing us, the guest feedback is recognizing us as well, and so we're very humbled, I would say, to be recognized through media, through industry, and through guest feedback as a leader, as a pioneer in our field. And we're most often recognized for our guest service and for the innovation of the treatments that we bring to people. And I'd like to share with you this video, which will give you a little bit of insight and a little bit more richness into how Chiva-Som is. Thank you. 30 years is a long time. Now we're going to dive a little bit into the pillars of wellness, and we think of these as like a faculty, like an educational or a knowledge faculty. And in this slide, you're going to understand the difference of what is spa, because I think a lot of people commonly confuse spa with wellness. Or there are some hotels, they put an apple on the counter, and then suddenly it's a wellness hotel. We have some more depth beyond that, and these are the elements that make up the range of treatments that we draw from when we're helping guests on their wellness journey. So we start with spa, because it is the familiar one, and of course it includes massage, and it includes body treatments, and it includes facial and salon and beauty. And for most places, that's where it stops, right? You go and you have a treatment and you feel good for an hour or two and you leave, and half an hour later you're back to what you were doing before. And so you haven't learnt anything. You haven't changed anything as a result of that experience. And it's a very hedonistic experience, you might say. We have that, but beyond that, let's reach into some of the other modalities. Physiotherapy. This is a key area where we have a dozen physiotherapists, and physiotherapists are helping us with pain, with neck ache, with the sore elbow, with a stiff back, with an injured knee. They're helping us with posture, they're helping us with balance, they're helping with stability. And particularly through the range of ages who come to the resort, there's varying needs. You know, more senior people perhaps are interested in stability or need stability. And that doesn't have to happen through clinic. That can happen through dance or through something else that's a lot more fun than just a clinical experience. But the clinical foundation is there as well. And physiotherapy is a really valued service because it delivers results, very tangible results in terms of pain management, and it works closely with the next modality, which is fitness. So having a physiotherapist guide perhaps a certain exercise that you might do to strengthen your back or to be able to sit more straight. The fitness team can pick that up, and then they can help you. Fitness doesn't have to be boot camp, right? I mean, I think that's just the fear that everybody has. Oh my God, I'm going to have to do boot camp. It can be if you want to, but at the same time, it can be something which is much more enjoyable, much more focused on different parts of your body, different needs, and really responds to the level and the appetite that the guest has. We have holistic health. So we're going to mention later on the mind and the spirit, and this is where holistic health plays. So we have a body of practitioners who are acupuncture specialists, or perhaps traditional Chinese medicine or traditional Thai medicine, or Reiki, some water therapies. And for some people, the energy healing is really what sets them on the right path. It addresses their mental health, it addresses some of their spiritual concerns. And so we have a whole practice that's built around that. We also have aesthetic services, which are administered under a dermatologist. So most of us would be familiar with those, and more like laser and cryotherapy, things like that. And the thing that wraps it all together, because our guests are staying with us all of the time, the thing that wraps it all together is nutrition. And for people who are trying to get more heavy because they want to be fitter, or people who want to shed a few pounds, or people who just have found that they're allergic to something, or they want to explore a certain dietary option, nutrition and the meals that we provide really wrap the whole wellness service together. And as you know, it's got to be fun, right? It cannot be nutrition that is like bird seed. It has to be nutrition that has to be food that you want to eat. It has to be cooking classes that you can join in, or experience in an organic garden. So you reconnect with the source of your food. You begin to shape a different relationship with food, if that's really part of your goal. And all of these things are sorted by the advisors. So the advisors pick and choose from all of this range of services, and they put together the program that is right for you, for your age, for your goal, for your expectation, the things you love, the things you don't love. We have taken this experience that we've gained through operating the resort for 30 years, and this slide shows some of our locations, and we've built some consulting business around this knowledge, and it's this consulting practice that has brought us to Da Lat today, and so we're pleased to be able to share the knowledge based on the genuine operating experience of our resort in Thailand and also resort in Qatar, which was shown in the video, but we haven't really focused on that. So changing tack a little bit and asking the question, what is wellness? And I think, I'm going to say it again, wellness is not spa. And you should remember this because it's a test question. Wellness is much more beyond that. And the Global Wellness Institute is a American-based organization, and I think they have a lot of experience, and we use their definition of what is wellness. It is the active pursuit. So not just something that's accidental, it's something that you really focusing on and really trying to do. It's the active pursuit, and it's the choices that we make every day. Are we going for a run? Or are we just gonna, looks a bit wet outside, maybe I'm not. That's a choice, right? If you're really pursuing an active wellness lifestyle, then you maybe take the choice of the run, or you defend the run. And together, these choices add up to adopting a state of holistic health. And holistic is sometimes a word that's used in different ways. What we really mean here is all-round health. So, for example, you can be a smoker and also be fit. And then I would say that perhaps is not yet at the holistic health stage, right? You can be someone who's vigilant about diet, except that you take an enormous amount of wine. It's also not completely at the holistic stage. But remember, everybody's journey is different, and it's really important to understand that there's no one way, and also that there's no judgment. You know, we have to be in an environment that meets everybody where they are, not prescribing that everybody has to be a certain way. When we think about how wellness plays out in a broader context, and you'll see this in Suzanne's slides when she talks about HAUS Da Lat, you can see these different levels, like layers of an onion. So the personal wellness is the wellness that applies to me, and then beyond that, we can think about the wellness that is in a family. How do we take care of our kids? How do we take care of our parents? What choices do we make as a family to be healthy together? And beyond that, we can think about our society. What are we doing in our society to have a healthy society, healthy community, healthy conversations, healthy environment, which is a step beyond that. And it comes back to that original point. If we don't have good sustainability, it's very unlikely that we're able to exist in a healthy way in that environment. So these four things ripple from one to the other, and they really play together. So summarizing the health, we can think about this circle of things that are all sitting together: the physical health, the mental health, spiritual health, emotional health, which is maybe balance, maybe calmness, maybe breathing, social, the community that we are in together, the friends that we form, and the environment, and all of that sits together. So let me just start by saying that Vietnam, when we look at Vietnam as a whole, Vietnam is not bad compared to ASEAN neighbors in terms of its health scorecard. But that's a comparative statement. And so when we look at Vietnam and we think, what are the services that we're going to be supporting in our wellness living, in our wellness lifestyle and HAUS Da Lat, we have to start with trying to expect what might come in the door to us so that we can prepare how to support people. And cardiovascular disease, related to heart rate, overweight, smoking, these are concerns that we have within the country. So World Health Organization reports, this data may be a year or two old, but reports that 47% of men are smoking in Vietnam. That is a very high number. And I think that we know smoking, not such a great thing for health outcomes. So when we think about what we provide, how do we support people who might be wanting to reduce the amount they smoke or to quit altogether? When we look at the numbers relating to obesity and to being overweight, fully 50% of women in Vietnam are recorded, this is adult women in Vietnam are recorded as being overweight. So the concern of the guests walking in, many of them, they may be worried about that. They may be wanting to do something. So how do we think about that in terms of the food that we provide or the services that we provide, the exercise that we provide? It needs to inform us about the mix of things that we will provide within this space. Also, women are regarded as being inactive. 30% of women are inactive, 20% of men are inactive. So how can we support people to help themselves adopt a more active lifestyle? The park outside, right? It doesn't have to be in a gym. We can go outside, we can be in the fine forest, we can do exercise together on the edge of the lake. These are things that we're thinking about as we're looking at the services. And this is not just a local issue, this is global. And just to put that in context really briefly, you see that the Global Wellness Summit has assessed the size of what they call the wellness industry, made up of many parts: nutrition, physical activity, tourism, $6.3 billion in 2023. And one element of that is real estate. So this is real estate which is focused on providing healthy lifestyle. So some element of the design is trying to address the motivation or the energy or the support that people need to live in a more healthy way. So 438 billion is a fairly big number. And when you look at the shape of that curve, you can see that the trajectory is definitely up. This is considered a growth sector, and the forecast is very strong for this business overall. So it, frankly, is a global problem, and people need to be healthier, and it's continually a challenge because our luxury lifestyle leads us towards being more inactive rather than more active. So our trajectory is to try and bring this wellness into the luxury real estate. We have the luxury real estate, you've seen it. It's beautiful. Everything you've seen the last few days, it's amazing. We're trying to bring, and Suzanne will show you which floors, we're trying to bring the wellness, to make this wellness available to the community of residents who will live in this real estate, and also members and guests, other people who will be part of this community. So join us on this journey and make the living lifestyle, the wellness living lifestyle, really come to life. So I've shared with you about Chiva-Som. We've looked at what is wellness and why is it important. And what I'll do now is introduce my colleague Suzanne, and she's going to talk to you about how this plays into the journey of somebody who's using the space in HAUS Da Lat. Thank you.
A warm welcome to HAUS Da Lat, a wellness living retreat. A sanctuary in Da Lat where wellness is not just a lifestyle, but it's an invitation to an extraordinary journey. Imagine an urban oasis, deeply rooted in sustainability. Imagine a place where fun and enjoyment go hand in hand with integrative wellness. Imagine a place that's for you, for your families, but also for the community. Please allow me to introduce you to our inspirational character, Anne, and her sister. Just as many of us, Anne has a rich but demanding life. It is filled with family, with friends, but also with obligations for work and social life. Anne really remains young at heart, again, like many of us. But you know, she did turn 40 just a few years ago, and slowly but surely, she can feel some signs of mental, physical, and spiritual, may I say, wear and tear. Anne lives at the beautiful house residence in Da Lat. Actually, having seen the presentation today, we think that Anne lives in a sky villa and maybe in the due two-bedroom unit. But you're the esteemed partners. We will let you guide us which one you think is the best fit. So Anne has moved to Da Lat years ago because she wanted to balance her busy Saigon lifestyle. Anne really loves living in Da Lat. But you know, sometimes, only sometimes, she yearns for a little bit more sophistication. When it's a little bit cold in the evening, and I think we felt that maybe in the last days, Anne is yearning for some warmth. And also, sometimes she misses connections with like-minded people. Now, living at HAUS Da Lat in her beautifully, thank you, 1508, Skyview Villa, during the work, Anne will interact with us. So during working days, Anne might engage in some wellness living, while on a weekend or a special occasion, a public holiday, Anne might actually contribute a full day to wellness. Let me give you an example of what that might look like. A typical day in Anne's wellness living could commence in her beautifully designed residence. She will wake up there, after which she wants to start her day with some energy, which we all need now in the afternoon time, which is why Anne might join us for a bungee workout session, just to get that core engaged and to get moving a little bit. After that, Anne might go for a day out in Da Lat to meet some friends, to meet some family. Or Sadly, we all have to work sometimes, or all the time, which is why Anne might opt to visit us at the co-working space, which is part of the Lifestyle Wellness Club. Her day will end. Anne might feel a little bit the bungee workout, so she might want to finish her day, maybe to get rid of some of the toxins that have built up in her muscles. So she might opt to have a Vietnamese cupping therapy to just finish her day. That's just a weekday for Anne. Let's look at a time when Anne is able to really commit her whole day to wellness. For a more fully immersive wellness day, Anne would likely arrive. She would be welcomed home. She would have a check-in with the wellness coach that Karen was mentioning earlier, to be heard, to be welcomed, maybe to get some guidance, or maybe to speak to somebody and share some of her thoughts. Anne might then enjoy a aerial yoga class, which after that she might join us in the hydrothermal hub. Now this sounds terribly complicated, hydrothermal hub. Don't worry, I will take you through that journey later, and I promise you nothing complicated about it. It's actually rather fun and inspirational. Having had all these wellness interactions, Anne might just want a little bit of a break. We all need a bit of time to ourselves where you just want to relax, which is why Anne might just choose to relax by the poolside. But she will want to have a meal. I think at that point we all know one will feel hungry, which is why Anne will join us for a farm-to-table Vietnamese lunch. Having relaxed by the pool, having enjoyed some healthy cuisine, Anne might want to get a little bit of the blood flowing again in the afternoon. I think that's what we all might be yearning right now. So which is why Anne might join us for a pine aromatherapy massage. You might wonder why I'm referring to pine here. What we have done is we studied a little bit the value of pine and what pine can do for us, the essence of pine oil, and what the wellness values are. From there, Anne might join a nutritional workshop, or if she has any energy left, go to join us at the silent disco event in the evening. We did not only dream of Anne, we also dreamed up some other inspirational characters. Please allow me to introduce to you the Tran family, and also John. The Tran family does not live in Da Lat, but they have the habit of visiting Da Lat either for a single day or for a longer weekend. The Tran family consists of 3 generations. Here you have the grandparents, which are, I would say, about 75 years old and possibly retired, or I hope at least for them. We then have the second generation, the parents, which would be in their 40s and would still be working. And then we have little Mong. We think he's about 4 years old. He's a toddler in the middle of his life. Again, the Tran family, when they visit Da Lat, might opt to spend some time on their wellness. Now, they might do that on a single day or on a more longer stay. What is important to know about the Tran family is that everybody in that family will have their own wellness goals. And as I just explained, we have a big age gap going from 40 years to 75 years. You can imagine that the aspirations of little Mong will not be the same aspirations as the grandparents. At their age, the grandparents will be more focusing on restoring and preserving their quality of life, while little Mong, who's 4 years old, just finished being an infant, is now a toddler, and he would really want to more focus on fine-tuning his body and his mind. The parents, in contrast to that, they're fully engaged to please their parents, to please little Mong. So for them, their focus would mainly be on maintaining health and prevent the onset of chronic diseases for their life moving forward. This is their personal wellness. You heard from Karen before about personal wellness, yet the family is also a very important unit. We are all daughters, sons, some of us are fathers and mothers. Maybe someone here, even everybody looks very young, might already be grandparents. So it's not only important to look after our own personal wellness, we also want to engage in the wellness, we want to support the wellness of the family. So while the Tran family members will be spending time to focus on their own wellness with the goal I just explained, they will also want to join some family sessions that focuses on more multi-generational sessions, such as, for example, family Tai Chi, really fun interactive gym sessions, maybe a healing tea ceremony, a little bit of co-working, maybe for the middle generation, or a stroll through our wonderful, and thank you, Kengo Kuma and Associates, sensory gardens. Last but not least, we have John. As you can see from the photo, John is an expatriate. John has just moved to Da Lat. He knows no one. John has high ambitions. For his work, he travels, he has his own company, but also for himself. He's very actively engaged in fitness, as you can see from this image. John would join us first as a member in a welcome package, as well as then on the member routine. Now, what is the difference between that? Just as us, sadly, we cannot commit 8 hours to wellness every day. That would be absolutely fantastic, but it's a bit tricky. Therefore, during the welcome package, John might decide to take 2 or maybe 3 days where he really focuses on his personal wellness, starting from a consultation, but also group or social wellness activities, where John has the ability to meet with like-minded individuals and socialize. This could, for example, be a group meditation, or it could be a sound bath, and this is where we do a gentle wink to Da Lat, and the fact that sound and music is a very important part of the experience. Yet, John will not be able to be fully immersed every day either. So therefore, John might choose to engage less on a daily basis if he has a typical day of membership. So therefore, he might just simply access the co-working areas, join us at the hydrothermal hub, or he might enjoy one of those sound baths. Now, this is where I take a bit of a step back, and I will just quickly introduce myself. So my name is Suzanne. I'm the director of projects at Chiva-Som, and it's really been my personal privilege, my team's privilege, who is led by my colleague Kun Ploy, to develop HAUS Da Lat since its inception as Vietnam's first fully inclusive wellness destination. We always had sustainability at our heart for this project. But to be honest, the approach has been pretty analytical. We started at analyzing the needs of our current and future customers. We thought about world-leading modern wellness experiences and how this could help our residents, members, and our day guests. But you know this would not be correct if we would have not also thought about Vietnam and looked at traditional Vietnamese medicine and the wisdom that's available in this country. At the same time, this is not only a Vietnamese project, this is a project in Da Lat. Da Lat is unique. We have heard it from everybody. The climate, the nature, the people, the produce, there are many things that are very unique. So with that, it becomes a little bit technical. What you see behind me are the different wellness dimensions that Karen has explained to you earlier. So don't worry, I won't take you through it again. What you can see here is that we have the landscape and retail areas, which are really mainly focused on environmental wellness. So what does it mean? It means to activate the spaces that our colleagues from Kengo Kuma and Associates have created with wellness, to ensure the community can use those spaces and our residents, our members, can really engage with them. But then also, we looked further at social, generational, and personal wellness to make sure that we have all dimensions covered. So not only the community, but also families and individuals have a moment to interact. Looking at environmental wellness, here you can see different landscape areas. And it was presented very beautifully, thank you so much. What our journey has been, we've been trying to create activities that would engage the community. So we aspire to create the Da Lat Run Club. Anybody can join. So in the morning, if you wish to go for a run, there's a certain time and you're welcome to join us. Whether you're a resident or whether you're a member or just a normal Da Lat citizen or visitor, you're welcome to join us. We've also created ideas on, for example, providing outdoor Tai Chi classes on the beautiful floating deck in the lake, or maybe activating the butterfly pavilion with outdoor yoga sessions. Now, if I zoom in a little bit into the Lifestyle Wellness Club, as you have already heard, and I know you're already the expert about, you know that the Lifestyle Wellness Club will be located both in the 3rd floor and partially on the 4th floor. It spans an area of about 5,000 square meters of indoor space and about 1,800 square meters of outdoor space. This excludes the environmental areas that I just spoke about, which is more publicly available. Trying to identify what would be the right mix of wellness proposition for this specific Lifestyle Wellness Club, we then developed this wellness framework where we identified our ingredients. The first ingredient being consultation and assessment. If I may make it short, it's the place where you're heard. People listen to you. I give you some examples. For example, we would have a family consultation. Every family knows that it's not only blue skies and sunshine. There can be a bit of clouds and thunder sometimes. So this is a place where we can help. It could also be nutritional consultation, mental health consultation, nutritional consultation, sleep, stress, skin or hair consultations. These are all moments where our wellness coaches, we really interact with our guests in order to make sure that the wellness we deliver for them is correct for their wants, but maybe also sometimes for their needs that they might not even recognize. From there is spa. You're the experts by now. Karin has said it. We all know spa is not the same as wellness. Spa is a piece of the puzzle. So yes, we will provide spa services, absolutely, but we will go a little bit beyond on the services we provide. If we come to energy healing, this is another dimension of our wellness framework. What is energy healing? Now, energy healing is more about natural therapy, identifying the root causes of health concerns, and then working on those. That sounds very complicated. What does it mean? An example would be acupressure, acupuncture, Vietnamese cupping, and forgive me for not using the Vietnamese term because I really don't want to pronounce it incorrectly. Lymphatic drainage or far infrared detox treatments. Sound baths could be part of that. We all feel music. It has an impact on us. And this is part of energy healing. The next element of our wellness framework is about movement and recovery. And as you can see, that's my favorite one. So here we have activities. We offer physical analysis, and we tailor-make programs to build or recover strength, flexibility, and improve function. What's very important to mention here is that you don't have to be a pro. Anyone is welcome. It doesn't matter if you do it for the first time or you're almost professional. You're welcome to join us for those fitness activities. We will make sure it is safe and it is fun for you. Last but not least, this one is an exciting one because we created this specifically only for the HAUS Lifestyle Wellness Club here in Da Lat. It's what we call CRE-activity. What does that mean? CRE-activity is where we nurture well-being through shared experiences, through encouraging activity and self-expression across all ages. So if I go back to the Tran family, what would they do in regards to this CRE-activity? Examples here could be a healing tea ceremony. It could be mandala art. Or it could also be a nutritional workshop. Having said that, we live in an environment where especially younger generations are constantly online. And they start to feel uncomfortable about actual physical interactions. We're dreaming of an online wellness community that they can be part of, that they will eventually feel comfortable to be part of our Lifestyle Wellness Club. Now, translating this wellness framework, these aspirations, this vision, into spaces, how do we do that? We now club these in 3 clusters. The reason we do that is because they're very different energies. And I think you all know this. We have all sat in a restaurant with our partners, and we try to have that romantic dinner. And next to us is a family with 2 kids, and they're having dinner and a lot of energy. That's really tricky. It's tricky for the couple, but it's also tricky for the family. So what we do in order to make sure that both types of clients can really enjoy their experience, we cluster spaces. So we create social wellness areas, which are open to all, personal wellness areas, which are really open to adults, so they're lower energy, as well as then also generational wellness areas, which are open specifically to the needs of families. Now let me show you some photos. It's in the afternoon, so maybe good to get some inspiration here. So the first space of the social wellness areas that's open for all ages is our co-working space. Sadly, work is part of life for most of us, so it is nice to have a space when we can go and work a little bit. Additionally, there will be a wellness retail moment to complement, not compete with the retail offerings available in the first and second floor. On top of that, we are envisioning a cooking and creative studio, as well as a healthy cafe. I won't speak much about that because I have a slide about wellness cuisine, and I'd like to talk about this a little bit more. Last but not least, we also will offer a residence lounge. This might particularly interest you because that's a designated facility for the residents of HAUS Da Lat only. On top of these areas for the social wellness, so welcome to all ages, we will also offer something quite unique, which I've yearned for a little bit the last days. There will be an indoor heated pool available as well. Let me pause a little bit and speak a little bit about wellness cuisine. I will start with a quote. The quote says, "We pay the doctor to make us better, but we should really pay the farmer to make us healthier." And this has really been our guiding principle for developing the food and beverage operation of the HAUS Wellness Lifestyle Club at Da Lat. So what we try to do is we try to look at the local produce, the vegetable, the fruit, all these unique elements that's really available in Da Lat, exported all over Vietnam or even other countries, and use those elements. But on top of that, we wanted to really marry that with wellness cuisine. Now, a lot of you are going to think, oi, wellness cuisine, bird's food. Small portion and not delicious. Please allow me to talk a little bit more about it. The first and most important guiding principles of wellness cuisine is the balance between flavor, nutrition, and presentation. So if we think about the infamous bird's food or eating only rice crackers, let us check that. Would it work for wellness cuisine? Would there be flavor? At least for me, I would say no. Would it be nutritional? Maybe. But would it look nice? I don't think so. So for us, this is not wellness cuisine. What's important is the balance. And with that, what's also important are the top 2 elements here, one of which is community engagement and reverence for the planet. Celebrating local produce, therefore providing income to local suppliers in the region, in the country, and ensuring that we have the community engaged with us and therefore the support of the community. Maybe sharing some knowledge about sustainable farming practices so the produce we receive actually is good for the environment, but also those that eat it. Other principles are cooking methods, and last but not least, bio-individuality. Now, bio-individuality sounds like a really big and complicated term again, but it's very simple. Anybody who's either gluten intolerant, lactose intolerant, or has anyone in their family with a peanut allergy knows exactly what that means. It's being able to get the food that's good for you. Now, coming back from those spaces, I'd like to go into the generational wellness areas. These generational wellness areas are the areas that really appeal to families, to guests of all ages. Here are some examples. There will be a spinning studio and an interactive Pavy gym. For those who have not tried this, please do. There will be a golf simulator, which is a gentle nod to Da Lat and the beautiful golf course here and in the region, as well as also a multifunctional family play with rock climbing area. But multi-generational does not only mean active. Mindfulness is a big topic, so which is why we also have more mindful, calmer areas, such as, for example, our sound dome. Other areas than I've just mentioned, on the active sides, are the fitness, consultation, and assessment room. Of course, there's a gym. Our active studio, our Pilates reformer studio, as well as the mindful areas, which we've already mentioned, except for the mindful studio, which is really used more for meditation or lower energy activities. Now, we've gone and remember the onion Karen spoke about? We're now at the core of that, personal wellness. For personal wellness, you can see that this slide looks very technical. So as I said, our starting point was really modern wellness technology that can stand on a global stage. So what we will be offering here, you can see a far infrared treatment, which is very good for detoxification, as well as a lymphatic and lower body treatment, which is extremely good for rejuvenation. On top of that, some of us might really enjoy the little beauty moment. So there will be a salon and a nail bar as well. Additionally, here we visualize the health and wellness consultation room. And then just behind me, we have the hydrothermal hub, which I will have the pleasure to explain to you in a little bit more detail. Looking at the other spaces that are not yet visualized here, we will also be offering further types of treatment rooms. And this is where I want to reassure you that in our framework, we did look at traditional Vietnamese treatments, as well as also unique elements of Da Lat. So these are, for example, a Thai or Vietnamese stretching room, as well as certain different types of treatment rooms. From there, we go into our hydrothermal journey. And for me to do this, who remembers Anne and her sister? You still remember her? Some of us? Okay, it's late in the afternoon. Thank you, everybody. All right, so coming back to the journey of Anne and her sister, let me take you through what their interaction with our hydrothermal hub could be. Maybe in the afternoon, Anne and her sister might choose to come to us because they need a little bit of warmth, which is why they would come to our reception and then go to a place that we uniquely created for the HAUS Lifestyle Wellness Club in Da Lat, which is what we call the sensory caldarium. Again, another complicated term. All it is, in simple terms, is a room that makes you feel warm. It's a room where area surfaces are warm. So when you feel a bit cold at the end of the day, sometimes from the inside, it helps to warm you the core gently. But we felt that might be a bit boring just to sit there, just to feel warmer. So we would like to combine that with a truly unique sensory lighting experience and a little bit of technology. So gentle wink to our colleagues at Isometrics. We look forward to working together on this one. This might be it for Anne and her sister. They don't have much time. This is all they're going to do. If they have a bit more time and they're ready to maybe get changed into a different outfit, they might choose to join us in the locker and changing rooms to then go to the thermonist. What is the thermonist? The thermonist is our interpretation of a hammam-type treatment with a Vietnamese touch. And that's all I'm going to say today. More to come on that one. Once they have done that, they might go through the typical hydrothermal journey. Now, if you're not so familiar with that, the way to imagine that is pretty much a staggered experience between hot and cold experiences that gently increases in intensity when it comes to the heat, when it comes to the humidity of the areas experienced. There are cold moments in between to help you cool down. This area has true wellness value. Going through that is not only fun and engaging, but also there are true benefits to your wellness, to your health, that you can experience at your own at your own journey. Well, I'm going to zoom out again. Having told you about all this vision and all these experiences, we then said, oof, this is a great dream, but how are we going to translate this into design? We have this vision, we have these clusters, we have these areas. So we derived some design principles. The design principles we derived will be our memory, will be our laundry list. So the first one is to be Da Lat inspired and sustainable. That was very simple. It must be Da Lat inspired and it must be rooted in sustainability. There are two that might be a bit surprising, which is hidden operations as well as consistency. And again, thank you to the team from Kengo Kuma and Associates. When it comes to consistency in design, to the flows they've already done, they've really started this very well for us. So here, what we're trying to achieve is a flow where the team can be present, where you want them to be present. But where they're not present, where you don't want them to be present. It's like that friends are stars. You know, you don't always see them, but they're always there. There's that saying. It's a little bit similar to that. So we've created these principles, and the two more principles we have from that is about immersion into wellness and rejuvenation through space. What does that mean? We are keen to create spaces that really help the journey, that transport our guests. But let me summarize here. Karen has helped to speak about Chiva-Som, and she's spoken to us about wellness, which is not the same as spa, as well as why it is important. I've spoken to you a little bit about our inspirational characters, as well as what was our vision and the process to translate this somehow into design. And that is where I will hand over to Haley, my colleague from M&E.
Hi everyone, my name is Haley. I'm one of the co-founders of Mitchell Eades. I know some of you have struggled to pronounce Eades over the last couple of days, so I just want to let you know that it's okay to call us M and E. That makes it a little bit easier. Yesterday, some of you heard me speak about what it means, what the meaning of luxury is, and what the meaning of ultimate luxury is to us. You've also heard Karen speak today about luxury and about Chiva-Som as a brand. At M&E, we design experiences. Gone are the days where where design is a single sensory experience. We believe that luxury is a multi-sensory experience. It's not something that's immediately obvious. It's not always easy to describe. It's a moment in time. It transports you. True luxury is a complex integration of emotion. It takes time to unpack, it sparks curiosity, and it leaves a lasting impression. Luxury is a lifestyle. Ooh. The new standard. So you've heard from some of our partners over the last couple of days about what the new standard is that we're creating here at HAUS Da Lat. I think it's very easy for us to think about a new standard in terms of sustainability. But it's very important that we understand that sustainability cannot be a one-time prospect. It needs to be something that we build over time and we commit to. And I think it's very clear from what we've spoken about over the last couple of days that it's a real commitment here at HAUS Da Lat. We're creating a new standard, not just for Vietnam, but not just for Da Lat, but for Vietnam to stand on a global stage. Of course, we talk about natural materials, we talk about recycled materials, we talk about reducing our carbon footprint. These are things that we as designers always use as buzzwords. And actually it's something that we do believe in at Mitchell Eades and at Chiva-Som. It's important that we consider these things in the design. But more than that, we want to create a circular economy in and around Da Lat, creating a community and a longevity which goes on to support the project for many, many years to come. I think again, some of you would have heard me last night talk about how I've been really mesmerized by Da Lat and by the people of Da Lat. I think more than more than just what people are on face surface. I've learned a lot about the people here in Da Lat and what they love, what their families love. I've asked questions and people have seemed surprised that I've asked questions. I've asked people where would they like to dine, where would they take their families to dine, what are the things that they find special about Da Lat. And I think it's really important that we as a project give back to this incredible community, and we do that through many different ways through our design process. To us, the name Da Lat conjures up visions of luxuriant forests, mirror-like lakes, and cottony clouds. To us, that inspires a concept of biomorphic curves and tactility. The mix of Vietnamese and French architecture are striking in Da Lat, the town which we feel is like a constant European spring. Creating an environment that enables guests to maximize their self-care in a modern world, balanced with a conscious consideration for our planet, really is what we would consider the ultimate luxury. A sense of place and a sense of self grounds us in our day-to-day. It deepens our connection to the community, and that is a community that we've really felt we've already become part of just in the last couple of days. So you'd be interested to know that some of the partners and associates here today, we've actually never had a conversation about concept. You'd be very surprised because you'll see that there's a lot of synergy in the things that we're presenting here today. I was really happy to see some of the things that KKAA, Isometrics, and 1508 have all presented, because I think there really is a beautiful synergy which is going to connect the whole building. We might be a group of different design and creators, but we're also kindred spirits, clearly. So running through some of our concepts, the way the light falls in Da Lat, through the cottony clouds I spoke of, onto the mirrored lakes and through the pines, it really takes us on a journey. We think that it's really fascinating how light is rarely the same in a property, and as the sun moves over the building through the days, the years, the months, no matter how many times you come back to HAUS Da Lat, we believe that there will always be something to revel in. There will always be a new vision, something that appears to you for the first time that will cause you to stop, be still, and reflect. We also celebrate Da Lat's ability to be still. We know that Hanoi reflects resilience in Vietnam, and we know that Saigon has a beautiful entrepreneurial spirit, but we think that Da Lat has a really unique ability to just stop, pause, be still. The third thing that we found to be truly fascinating about Da Lat is the concept of people coming together, people nourishing together, synchronizing and energizing together. I've heard stories from the locals here and people who have visited a lot, and somebody actually said to me the other day that they thought Da Lat was fascinating because it's a place that's known to be romantic, but somebody said to me that you could be at risk of divorce coming to Da Lat because you bring your partner here for a romantic trip and there's actually nothing to do. So one of the things that we aim to create here at Da Lat is a concept where people can actually come together and connect and have a space to be and share these experiences. Revel in light, our first core principle. As some of the other partners have spoken to, we're really inspired by the beautiful mist falling across Da Lat, the light all through the year from day to night. There's many ways that light can interact, as Isometrics have already explained to you. It really impacts your daily life. There's many different types of lighting, and I think we all forget that manufactured lighting comes from natural principles. So natural spotlighting, for example, the way that a light can fall through a window or a gap, highlighting a specific object. It might be an object that's been there for 5 years, but it happens to be this time you've come and the light is falling at a very specific angle and landing on that artifact that highlights it to you. KKAA mentioned about the natural light diffusion coming through the trees, the transcendence of that natural light dappling through space and creating clouds and character. The way that lighting conceals and reveals moments, and the way that natural lighting meets manufactured lighting, and we can distort light, change it, and create, again, new experiences. Here, we're aiming to describe to you how we can look at the journey and moments of connection, reflection, and the ability to avoid endpoints. something that KKAA mentioned was this concept of kobodate. There we go. And I think the concept of kobodate is really interesting to us because it's something that I've never been able to put a word to, but not so much the rhythm of the slats, but more that the concept of kobodate is that you are breaking the traditional method of a wall. So you made the comment that when you put a wall in a space, it breaks a rhythm, and it breaks a journey. And to us, this is the foundation of the journey moving through the wellness space, is that we don't want people to walk through a straight corridor. We don't want people to know where they begin and where they end. We want people to be taken on a journey through organic circulation, through scale variation. This image up here, I think, is a good lighting interpretation of a kobodate kind of concept. So in the same way that KKAA had mirror between the slats, you can create endpoints with light, which actually lead you to question where does it end and where does it begin. Points of connection, Suzanne mentioned before about Chiva-Som's, one of their core design points is the importance of the guest versus the operator circulation. So as a guest, I visit the wellness facilities, and I do not want to know where the staff are coming from. I don't want to know where they're having their lunch. I don't want to know where they're having their conversations. I want them to just appear at the correct time and leave without me noticing. One of our core design principles is going to be this concept of making this journey feel organic and genuine and not knowing where people are necessarily coming from and leaving. I'd like to invite Suzanne, Karen, and Ploy back up. At Mitchell Eades and Chiva-Som, we design experiences, and we're designing an experience here to put on a global stage. Thank you so much.